Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. And thank you for joining us on another episode of Ask Sharifah Videocast. We are here today with a very special guest. But before we bring in our guest, I'm going to ask you to do what I always ask you to do. And that is to go ahead and share this video because friends do not let friends miss out on Ask Sharifah. That's right. So if your friends miss out on all the information that we're sharing today, we're going to blame you, because you didn't let them know. So everyone is starting to tune in to us in the chat room. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I'll be sure to pass along your message to our guests. And if you haven't checked out some of our latest video interviews, you definitely want to visit the website at AskSharifah.com, or maybe you might want to be a guest. Go to AskSharifah.com, because we have so many wonderful people who are giving up their time, their information, and just their pure energy to be here with you. So today's guest is Mr. Martin Hodson, and he is head of sales for ChickenGuard. Good afternoon, Martin. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sharifah. Thanks for having me at 8 o'clock in the evening here in England. But it's nice. It's raining outside, so it's nice to be inside talking to your audience.
I guess any excuse to get out of the rain.
The English rain, I know.
Where are you in England?
We're ChickenGuard's based in a lovely little village just outside Cambridge. So Cambridge is pretty famous, the university and all that. And we're just in a little village 20 minutes outside of there.
Oh, wow. How exciting. That's exciting. I always want to travel, and I've never been to England, so I'm just looking for different places to go. Oh, might have to go check out ChickenGuard.
Most welcome.
So we see Clyde has joined us. Tammy Sorrento has joined us. Good afternoon. Make sure everyone goes ahead and shares this video. Hugh Beatty just came in. Now, Martin, ChickenGuard. Can you tell us a little bit about ChickenGuard and what it is?
ChickenGuard, it's a very simple concept. It's an automatic door opener for your chicken coop. So anybody who keeps chickens knows they have to get up, say 6 a.m. in the morning to let the chickens out, and then they have to be home to let them in, close them up at night, because depending on where you are in the States, there might be coyotes, there might be raccoons, there might be crows, there might be wild dogs, there might be wolves, the foxes. There's a load of predators out there. And Ben Braithwaite invented our product because his mom gave him some chickens. And he's not a morning person, so he wasn't good with that getting up at 6 a.m. thing. And he didn't lock them up one night, and unfortunately a British fox saw to the end of his chickens. So he said to himself, okay, I'm an electrical engineer. I'm going to invent something and stop that happening to other chicken owners. And that's what he did. So it's a very simple little box about the size of your hand. You put it above the door on your chicken coop. It opens automatically. It closes automatically. You can stay in bed on a Sunday morning till your heart's content. You don't have to worry, because ChickenGuard's going to open the door for you. And the other major benefit that a chicken owner is going to get from that is they can go away. If you go away for the weekend, even just one day as a chicken owner, you have to bribe your neighbors. You have to convince your friends and family to come round so that they can open the door for you. And they have to remember to get back after work to close the door. And it's a lot of responsibility having chickens and looking after somebody else's chickens. And so this product now does that for you. And in just over 5 years of sales from our little village in Cambridge, where it's lovingly put together, made in England, we have sold getting on for 110,000 across 48 different countries. And believe it or not, we've sold in all 50 states in the US, including, from Hawaii to Alaska. There are chicken guarders out there. And brilliant piece of research. For 3 years, I've been telling APA, which is the American Pet Products Association, that chickens are pets, and they didn't believe me. Dogs are pets, cats are pets, tortoises might be pets, rabbits, hamsters, budgerigars, they're pets. Chickens, no way. And APA does a survey every 2 years where they ask something like 20,000 US homes, what pets do you keep? And they finally, after 3 years of me knocking on their door, added chickens to their list of potential pets. And you know what the results were? The results were 52% of US homes have got a dog, 34% of US homes have got a cat, 9% of US homes keep fish as pets, and 8% keep chickens. Who knew? Well, I knew, but but Appa didn't know, and that's fantastic. And chickens are on the way up, and fish are on the way down. In 2 years' time, when they repeat that survey, chickens are going to be the number 3 pet. It's just a phenomenal boom that's happening across the States now, and they need protecting. And less than 1% of chicken owners in the States have currently got a chicken guard. So, you know, it's fantastic that you've given me this platform to tell more people about it. You know, the old 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon thing. Everybody knows somebody, etc. I reckon it's 2 degrees from Kevin Chicken, or most hens at home are girls, so Kavina chicken, let's say. And yeah, I mean, everybody knows somebody. It might be a teacher of their kid's school, it might be their next door neighbor, it might be their mother-in-law. Everybody knows somebody who's got chickens. And so the more people who hear about the existence of a very simple product that can help improve the quality of life of those chicken owners, that's got to be good. So thank you for giving me the platform.
Well, you are so welcome. I thank you for enlightening us, because so much of the information you just gave to us, although it may be rather simple to you, was kind of surprising to me. So if you're just now joining us today, I saw Candace join us, Crystal join us, Amber Penrose has added some little smileys and some happy faces. So if you're just now joining us, we are speaking with Martin Hodson of ChickenGuard, and he is the head of sales. So one of the things that stood out to me, and this is my question, because, you know, I'm a sales and marketing girl. That's my background. That's what I've known, ate, slept, dreamed since I was probably about 19, 20 years old, when I was teaching sales for cheap tickets. I'm passionate about sales. I'm passionate about marketing. I'm passionate about PR. I'm passionate about making money. So when I heard you speak, I felt like you were passionate about chickens. Like you were like, let's save the chickens. I could see you outside with a sign, you know, like, we got to save the chickens. For you, how did you become so passionate? Is this just a job for you, being head of sales? How are you so passionate about chickens?
You know what? I mean, I'm sales and marketing guy as well. You know, since I was 20 years old, and I was working on Cadbury's cream eggs, which is a bit of a dream opening job when you come out of college. To be working on Cadbury's chocolate cream eggs is fantastic.
Well, so if you any co-workers who work for Cadbury,
I might not look it, but that was a long time ago, many years. But yeah, so you know, I've worked on chocolate eggs, I've worked on color dyes, I've worked on furniture polish, I've worked on mosquito sprays, I've worked on polymer gel bunion guards, and I've worked on tampons. So I'm pretty passionate about whatever, but I've always worked in big companies. And the beauty of ChickenGuard, you know, we're a small company, but we're now a big small company. So, you know, when I joined, I was employee number 13 3 years ago, which was halfway through the ChickenGuard life. And now we have 21, and we're recruiting for another 4. Such is the growth that ChickenGuard is experiencing. And you can't help get passionate about ChickenGuard as about chicken owners. You know, the Facebook competitions that we ran one last year to win a chicken coop, and we had over 4,000 entries, and we read every single one of those 4,000 entries. We had to divide it out amongst people, so we read 400 each, because people were just so passionate about, you know, there was one chicken coop to be won, and they came up with just amazing stories, and chicken people love to talk and share with each other. So we're getting involved in lots of blogs, lots of forums, lots of Facebook groups where chicken owners can share their own stories. We had a competition to win a t-shirt with your chicken's name on. And it was a global competition, but all 5 winners came from the States. And we had hundreds and hundreds of entries, and people sent in their pictures of their chickens. And I see if I remember all the names of the winners. One winner was Cher. You can imagine how Cher looked. Huge hair. One winner was Mensa, because the owner swore that this chicken was a very, very clever chicken, more clever than the norm, and so she called her Mensa. There was a Sissy Spacek who had a remarkable resemblance to Sissy Spacek. There was Pirate. Pirate had an eyesight problem, so wore a patch. So they called it Pirate. So those four, they stood out. And then the fifth winner was Brian. How can you not give a prize to somebody who has a chicken called Brian? So that just the passion that comes from the chicken owners is kind of shared by me as somebody who's trying to protect those chicken owners. And when the product began 6 years ago, that first one that Ben made on his kitchen table, that he tried to put it on eBay to see if somebody would buy it, and somebody bought it. So then he had to start making some more, and now we have the factory where we're making more and more and more. And we had one product, one SKU when it started. Now we have different strengths of motor engines, because if you do live in Alaska, the normal strength motor is not enough to open the door when it's like, way down in the minuses. And so we had to introduce a stronger motor for people who live in the likes of Alaska. In Canada, 80% of our sales are on the extreme model, not the premium model. And we've had to, like, as any developing brand gets to develop products outside of just that initial one product, which is where we started. And then that brings its own problems as an organization. So now we have multi-language boxes. So we have a North American box which has English on one side, but it has French and Spanish on the other side. It has a UPC code. In Europe, we have to have an EAN code because the barcodes read differently in Europe versus North America. So suddenly that's a whole bunch of different boxes that we have to find storage places for, and we have to have systems to make sure we don't run out of stock of them. And yeah, I'm a sales and marketing guy, but because the size of the market of the company is still a relatively small one, it means I also have to be a purchasing procurement manager as well. So juggling lots of different hats while still trying to find time to build the brand. And so I hope my passion is coming across to you and the audience, but the passion that I see from the chicken owners who were trying to improve their quality of life is equally passionate, more so than a lot of other walks of life, I think. And I attend lots of pet shows, not pet shows for the pet owners themselves, but the way we build Chicken Guard is by going to the trade pet shows and the trade garden center shows, when what you're trying to do is convince those big wholesalers and distributors who are calling on pet shops and garden centers and agri farm shops every day of the week that chickens are pets. I have to convince them that chickens are pets, right. And that Chicken Guard is a product that needs stocking. If one of their customers stocks chicken feed, they need a Chicken Guard, because the chances are less than 1% of the people buying that chicken feed have heard of Chicken Guard. Right. They would all need it, and the benefits that it gives to them. So that's my job. And you see at the pet show, it's such a tough world for Chicken Guard, because it's dogs, cats, dogs, cats, fish, dogs, cats, fish, birds, and we might be a little subsection. And so we have to try and stand out. So, we've had chicks on our stand. We've had chicken coops on our stand. We have artificial grass on our stand. It was a very funny story. A trade show in Germany last year, the stand opposite us also had grass, but they didn't have artificial grass. They had real grass, and the person who'd been put in charge of it didn't realize we're inside in a hall with bright lights and warmth, and real grass isn't going to be very healthy in there. And that was quite funny. By the end of it, it looked like the last day of Wimbledon in a sunny Wimbledon when all the grass had died. But we make sure we have artificial grass. So that's the world we're in. We're trying to stand out as a chicken brand when 52% of people are thinking about dogs and 34% are thinking about cats. So we have to try and be a little bit different. In Las Vegas at Super Zoo last year, we wore chicken hats with legs that were dangling. And you know what? We won a new account. True Value is a really big account. They have 4,500 members across the states, and their sales guy came over to Chicken Guard because he wanted to know what these chicken hats were all about. And if we hadn't been wearing those chicken hats, maybe he wouldn't have come over. Maybe we wouldn't have got that new customer with potentially 4,500 stores.
Right.
And so that's what we have to try and do. We have to try and think different and stand out. And one of the things that I'm deep into at the moment is having, for the first time ever, a pet trade show, a poultry zone. So Super Zoo in Vegas is the pet show where all the distributors, the wholesalers, they all go to find out what's new in the pet world. What's the latest organic, super healthy dog food? What's the latest toy for cats? And et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to find out what the latest thing for chickens is. But there's about another 9 or 10 chicken companies out there, and they want people to know what's the latest new thing in the chicken world as well. So what we've done is I'm based in England, but I've been the link man for all these other chicken companies who have brands for chickens that chicken owners need to have but might not know about. So I've gathered them all together, and each and every one of them has said, yeah, we want a poultry zone. And so the Super Zoo organizers are going to give, for the first time ever in a trade show, I guess anywhere in the world, a poultry zone. Aquatics have an aquatic zone. Vegas in August, Super Zoo is going to have a poultry zone. And I'm in negotiations with them as well, because it looks like they might give me a slot on one of their talks as well. So I'll be able to give the little talk on chicken pet keeping is a thing in the States. You know, the chicken owners, they give them names. I told you the story of the T-shirts earlier. The kids get upset when they pass away. Fortunately, they live good, long, healthy lives, and they're producing eggs most of those lives as well. Just it gets a little bit slower as they get older, but it's not unusual for a chicken to be over 10 years of age. They get Christmas presents. They celebrate birthdays, and
I never knew. This is all news to me.
Yeah. Well, what they did, Apple, when they did this survey, they asked 2 questions. Question 1 was, do you keep dogs as a pet? Do you keep cats as a pet? Do you keep chickens? And the second question was not just do you keep chickens, but do you consider them a pet? So 8% of United States homes kept chickens, and 6% considered them a pet. That's, you know, the other 2%, they just wanted eggs without having to go to the grocery and to know where they came from. But 6%, that's getting on for 8 million homes. Consider their chickens as pets. 10% have got chickens. So 10% of all homes in the United States have got chickens, and 3/4 of them consider them to be pets, give them names, buy them presents, et cetera, et cetera. And my job is to convince the wholesalers, convince the distributors, convince the pet stores, convince the garden shops, convince the agri shops that's really a thing, and that they should be stocking more poultry products. And that's why we're all kind of ganging up together and kind of fighting back against the dog products world and the cat products world. And hopefully having us all together in this one zone, we all get seen, we all get spotted, and we can all benefit from it. So it might be chicken coop makers, it might be chicken feed makers. There's even companies that make chicken diapers. Would you believe that?
Diapers for the chicken?
For the chickens, yeah, they like to poop a lot. So, and then that messes up your chicken coop. So you have to then do the cleaning of that. ChickenGuard can't do anything about that at the moment. But yeah, there's lots of products you need, and the pet stores themselves and the distributors, they don't really realize that at the moment. So, you know, dog ownership isn't going up, exponentially. Cat ownership isn't. They're always pretty high. Fish is going down, and they've got loads of space in pet shops. And so it's fantastic to have a product which has got such growth potential that we can have fun with from a marketing perspective. But when I joined 3 years ago, there was just a box that, it had a logo on, and the logo was supposed to represent keeping foxes out. So it was a shield with a fox and a diagonal line through it. but to me that looked like the family herald of Mr. Fox, and didn't do the keeping chickens safe. So now we have ChickenGuard, which is a chicken inside a lock, which is the logo, which you might be able to see there on my
I like it
on my shirt there. Yes. And that just represents what it's for chickens, and it's a lock. It keeps them safe. And that was step one, that we created a logo, we created a brand, it's trademarked all across the world. I checked out, okay, who lives near our little village in Cambridge who's bought a ChickenGuard? I went and visited them, spent half an hour, had a cup of tea, had a chat. One guy had a llama as well.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, goats and llamas, foxes don't like them, so they'll walk away if they see that there's a goat or a llama there, and it's really insightful. So, ChickenGuard is 6 years old, or getting on for 6 years. We have our 5th hardware, so the actual product ChickenGuard is now on its 5th visualization of what it looks like, and we're on 15 or 16 in terms of the software program that's inside of it. So those 5 home visits. And then I also did a questionnaire to the 2,000 strong database we had at the time. Got 400 results back. That's how much chicken people like to talk. If a coffee manufacturer sent out to 2,000 of their customers a questionnaire, they wouldn't get 400 responses. But you get 400 responses from 2,000 chicken owners, because they just love to share their learnings. And that gave, believe it or not, 220 ideas for new features on the product. And in the 2.5 years since that survey and those interviews, we've introduced quite a lot, not 220, but quite a lot of those things that they wanted into the software. A battery life indicator, simple things like that. Having screw holes on the outside to make it easier to screw it onto the chicken coop in the first place. Some were just blindingly obvious, but we needed the chicken keepers to tell us about it. So we're constantly trying to learn. We consider ourselves the world's leading innovator. There's a German product that already existed more than 30 years. Their product today looks the same as their product 30 years ago. I just told you ChickenGuard already had 5 different versions since the one that Ben first sold on eBay all those years ago.
Wow.
I consider myself, I worked in the diapers business. I wasn't working for Procter & Gamble, so Pampers was my competitor. I worked in the tampons business. I wasn't working for Procter & Gamble. Always was my competitor. So I had to be meaner and keener and sharper and spend my money more wisely. But what I was always in awe of them was always being one step ahead of the game and coming up with the next new thing. And that's my job, because there are people copying our product now, and what they're copying is the last version of what they saw of ChickenGuard. So we're already working on what the next version is and what the version after that is going to be, and that's how we're gonna win the game. And we got a great name, ChickenGuard. I can't claim any glory for coming up with the name. That was Ben back in the day. But I've taken it forward and made a brand out of it. We now have color coordinated brands. So standard is green, premium is blue, extreme, the cold weather version is purple. The locking door kit, the world's first self-locking door kit, the only door that locks, that has a mustardy color. So we're creating a brand, we're creating visualizations. We've completely redone the website. We didn't, ChickenGuard.com was the website for the world, and we have sold amazingly in 48 different countries.
Oh, wow.
50 US states, 48 different countries, 4 new ones already this year. Almost every month we get a new place where we've sold the ChickenGuard. And so Chile was, we sold one in Chile. Can you believe that? So fantastic.
Oh, in Chile? I didn't even know they had chickens in Chile. I guess
yeah. Apparently so.
That's exciting. We have so many people who are joining us. Welcome to Ashika, to Jim Perlman. Thank you all for joining us. If you're just now tuning in, we are speaking with Mr. Martin Hodson, and he is head of sales for ChickenGuard. And believe me, in the last few minutes, I have learned so much about chickens. I had no idea about so much information. I didn't even know, let me tell you, Martin, I did not. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, so I really should be ashamed of myself. But I didn't even know you had to take chickens out. Like, that was news to me. I always saw the little chickens running around all the time. So I didn't know they had to come in, they had to go out. I didn't know you needed a chicken sitter. I didn't know any of that information. This is definitely a learning experience for me. So, but I want to go back to one of the questions that I asked about when you started with ChickenGuard. When you first took this position, I know you have over 25 years of sales and marketing experience, but now one of the things I talk about in my book, Signs You Might Be an Entrepreneur, is that entrepreneurs are people who have solutions for problems that the world hasn't even seen yet. They come up with solutions. You know, people didn't even know there was a problem. So whoever started it, Ben, he solved a problem that most people like me, myself, I didn't even know this was such a thing. But coming in as head of sales, you had to take this product, even though you said it was halfway through, and you had to sell it to the masses. One of the things that I find interesting, very interesting, is that you created basically a lane for ChickenGuard. You said, hey, where do we want to be? We want to be in the pet stores. We can't be in the pet stores because most retailers do not classify as pets, chickens as pets. So we had to create this whole movement to make them pets in order to get in the stores. Well, how did you even come up with the idea? Were you spitballing? Were there other ideas that you was like, okay, well, maybe we should focus on the gate. Maybe, we should go to the people who make the chicken coops. What was that process like for you? Because it's a fantastic idea, but now looking back, it seems so obvious. But I know it wasn't.
I was fortunate that my previous role involved insect repellents, okay, and also a product called Get Off, which you put crystals on the ground around your garden bed and it keeps the cats and dogs away. So what that did, it meant that I knew about these trade shows. I knew about the garden shows. I knew about the pet shows. I knew about the organizations that run them, and the fact that we can get government grants in Brexit times and stuff as well. So I had a little bit of a head start. One of the reasons why I was able to put my 100-day plan of what I'm going to do when I join. And one of the reasons I got the job above the other candidates were there, because I had this little bit of background, which, I was always going to be doing this. And the beauty of it was what we did was we looked at, okay, who's selling ChickenGuard now? We did have resellers, of course, not just what we sold on the internet. And we had so many different types of stores. We had pet shops, one or two. We had a garden center. We had farm shops. We had DIY stores. We had security fence companies.
Oh, wow.
ChickenGuard is a security item as well. There are so many different potential resellers out there. So that then meant that we had to just trawl the internet and just find who can we talk to get into these different sectors. And chicken coop is an obvious one. If you sell a chicken coop, you've got which somebody might have paid $300, $500, even $1,000 for. So why not get an extra $200 by upselling a ChickenGuard as well? And so, some of them, they know the dimensions of the ChickenGuard. They screw the holes on in the right place so that it's there. And we get quite a good hit rate. Sort of the ones who do that, they get like 1 in 3, 1 in 2. They manage to upsell the ChickenGuard, and so that was really quite fun on trying to come up with where are the different types of places, and that really was brainstorm. I'm old school. I have a flip chart in my office and different color marker pens for coming up with brainstorming ideas like that. We also bounce off, because as we get more and more resellers, we get bigger ones. We have distributors now in different countries. We've sold in 48 countries, but we only have trade partners in 21. So that's 27 other countries where somebody owns a ChickenGuard, but there's no shops or anything they can buy it from. They just bought it from our website. But our web sales are less than 10% of our total sales. And so we talk to each new people who come on board. We brainstorm them and say, okay, where do you think you can sell ChickenGuard? Here's a fantastic example from the Netherlands. So we were at one of the European trade shows. We got this guy from the Netherlands. I have reps. They call on pet shops in the Netherlands. We like ChickenGuard. It turns out that in Holland, pigeon racing is a thing. In the States, pigeon racing is a thing. There's $1 million kind of Kentucky Derby for pigeons type thing. And pigeons need training. And when their owners are home from work in the evening, they can let them out. They fly away. They know where to come back. But what about when they're at work in the day? If they had a pigeon guard, a chicken guard for pigeons, then it could open. You set it at a time. What time you want it to open. It opens, they fly away, they know where they live, they come home, and they've had an extra training flight. And it's brilliant. Every time we get a new person in, that's a new brain to check on how they think they can distribute ChickenGuard somewhere else. As I said, we invented the logo right first thing when I was starting. We had that logo created. But we also created the brand. You know, we have the box, the retail box. How can you sell a product in a retail store when it's just in a white box, right, with a name on it? ChickenGuard means something to me. It now means something to you. Hopefully it means something to your audience now as well. Yeah. But to pet shops and garden centers and farm shops, they hadn't the faintest idea what it was. So just a white box with the word ChickenGuard on, what's that? Why are people going to buy that? So now we have the very nicely branded boxes. We kicked off with cartoon foxes with swag over their shoulder, trying to stand out amongst the other products that were out there. Now we're growing up as a brand. We've spent a lot of money on very nice photography, on videos. We have a fantastic video that's had almost a million hits across Facebook and YouTube already in a short period of time. We call it Dumb Neighbors. So I said at the beginning, if you're a chicken owner, one of the things you have to do if you go away is bribe your neighbors, you know, like 6 months free eggs if you look after the chickens this weekend. And we created this little video. So it's called Dumb Neighbors. Your audience can YouTube it and check it out. So basically the neighbors are given the instructions on, this is what you do. You have to open it in the morning, close it at the night. And so they're in bed. The alarm goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning. They wake up. They think, why is our alarm going off at 6 o'clock in the morning? We don't get up at 6 o'clock. So they just ignore it. And then they hear a huge commotion out in the garden. And they jump up. They put their robes on and they run out to the garden. And the chickens have bashed the coop down with their beaks. Oh, wow. Because they wanted to get out. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. It's time to get up. Right. But the dumb neighbors didn't do it for them. And then you finish on, you know, what? Why trust dumb neighbors? Trust ChickenGuard. That'll open it for you automatically. Works with a light sensor, works with a timer. You can choose which option you want. Light sensor is a bit tricky in the morning though. You get some fantastic weather in the States, in most states. So it could be 5 a.m. It could be beautiful sunny. Those coyotes, raccoons, foxes, they've still got the munchies. and so if you use the light sensor option, then 5 a.m. light's going to open. And that could be bye-bye chicken. So this is all part of the education that we have to do. That's why there's a version that has a light sensor, a version that doesn't have a light sensor, so people can choose. And by having more products, that gives more opportunity to get out there to market. But then you have the other worry is you get bigger retailers who are coming on board. They don't want to waste, you know, a whole shelf with 10 different ChickenGuard products. So then you have to come up with ways of doing it more clever and still selling the products, but taking up less space on the shelf. So we now have all our products. We have 2 different types of doors, a self-locking one, which is an anti-claw protection. It locks by itself when it closes. And we have the classic wood one. The self-locking one, it's the only one available in the world. It's made from fully super durable, fully recycled plastic. But because it's fully recycled, super durable plastic, it's black. Somebody's just spent $1,000 on a beautiful wooden coop. Maybe they don't want that there. So we have the classic door kit, which we discontinued when we launched the self-locking one, but then 1 in 3 people wanted the wooden one back. So we had to relaunch it again. Oh, wow. But what we've done is we've done combination packs. So you have the door and you have the ChickenGuard opener itself in the same pack. So then that's only 1 pack that's taken up on shelf in the store instead of the 2 pack. So we're trying to think of it from our perspective of having as many products to sell and make money from as possible, but we're also trying to think of it from the retailer's perspective as well. We invest quite a lot of our marketing money in display units as well. Small counter units that can sit on the shelf in a shop, and pet shops and farm shops tend to be quite small. We also have big floor units. If we're in big multiple stores that have got loads of space, then we'll give them a big stand. And the most important thing we have is a demo board. So the demo board is the salesman. You know, I can't be in all of the thousands of pet and garden and agri stores that exist across the States, not least because I'm in England, but I can't be in every store doing the pitch to the chicken owner. So we have an A-board demo, like you get outside a corner shop with the headlines from the evening newspaper on. But what we've got is we've got an image of the chicken coop. We've got a door that's manually operated, so a chicken owner can press the button, they can see it go up, they can see it go down. When it goes up, there's a chicken revealed underneath. And that just does what it says on the tin. That shows the person what they're getting for their $200 when they're investing. And we have over 3,000 reviews on the website. And that gives people the opportunity to read what other people's experiences are. So the combination of the reviews and online, if you're buying online, more than 70% of Chicken Guard purchases, somebody has read at least 1 review. And we're 4.8 stars. It's almost 5 stars all the way, which is great. We offer a 3-year warranty. It's an electrical product. Things could go wrong, but no quibbles. We'll get that sorted. We have, Ben is currently our evening American tech support guy. He's the owner, the inventor. We have a full-time tech support girl, but she works English 9 till English 5. So what happens after that when we start getting in? Imagine a West Coast person. So
yeah, Ben, West Coast person, let me know. I'm sure I have plenty. I'm here in Long Beach, California, sunny California. I'm sure
Ben, we've invested. We pay for a free phone American helpline number. So you guys can call, and if it's in the morning in America, you'll speak to Sabina. If it's in the evening, you'll speak to Ben. But we are getting to the stage when we have to think seriously about having a US base and having somebody in America doing that job. It's quite quaint when you get this nice English accent from Cambridge. When you've called an American free phone number, you're not really expecting that. That's how serious we treat customer service. People have spent $200 on the product. They want it to work. And normally I always liken it, when I hear Ben on these calls, I liken it to those airline movies when the pilots had a heart attack and can anybody fly a plane? And then somebody comes out from the passengers and then they're being talked into landing it by the air traffic control guy or girl, and that's what it's like with Ben, and he's talking these chicken owners through pressing the buttons and setting it right. We've tried to make that easier. We have a series of online videos now in the help center where it just watch that video, what's the thing you're having the problem with, and doing it like that. Not just FAQs, but also doing the videos. We have a QR code on the pack in the instructions, which scans straight into a 7-minute video of Ben setting it up for you. So you can know and see how to do it. The instructions are in 8 languages. That covers 96% of all chicken guards that have been sold across those 48 countries. We haven't got Kosovan yet, or Chile's covered. We've got Spanish. So the unit itself has those 8 languages in. So it didn't when I joined. It was English. So now the first question when you turn the power on is select your language, and then you've got 8 languages to choose from. The instruction booklet has all of those 8 languages, and you know what? It's in a font size that you can read, even without reading glasses. A lot of these big international brands, I opened something this week. There must have been 32 different languages on the back. Woo! What's going on? We actually, you won't believe it, but we had nice weather on Saturday, so we had a barbecue. And
we had rain here in Southern California.
Swapsies.
or Sunday. You might have sent that to us. But I wanted to read you one of the comments from Francis, who says, not only is the message great, but the enthusiasm is contagious. Love it. So she just wanted to give you some feedback on the conversation today.
Thank you, Francis. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you, Ray, for joining us, Latasha for joining us. Again, if you're just now tuning in to Ask Sharifah Videocast, we are speaking with Mr. Martin Hodson. He is head of sales for Chicken Guard, and we've learned so much about chickens and learned so much about this guard. So Martin, we are coming down to the end of my show, and what I like to do at the end of every show is just allow my guests to just look right out there, speak to the people who are watching live, speak to the people who are watching us in the archive, and just let them know what you want them to take away from your interview. Give any links or any information where they can go to purchase it.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that very much, Sharifah. So we started off with ChickenGuard.com. So ChickenGuard.com has still got all the drop-down flags, so you can choose your language wherever you are. But we are about to launch in the next couple of weeks ChickenGuard.us. Yes. And so we have ChickenGuardUSA.com, which is also it's quite nice. It's a retro look back in time, because when we created that site, when we were first thinking of coming to America, it was when we had the cartoon look and feel and the cartoon coop and the prime colors, the green grass, the blue sky, the orange fox. And really that's the old school look and feel. But in two weeks time, we're going to have ChickenGuard.us. It's going to be in the new look and feel. We're very proud of it. We've already doubled the conversion rate on the sales from the UK site, which is ChickenGuard.co.uk, but ChickenGuard.us is coming soon. And we're quite proud that people spend a lot of time on the website. We have the cluck section. We have jokes. You know, what's a hen's least favorite day? Friday. You know, chickens don't like Fridays. So we try and entertain people. We have blogs regularly updated with for chicken owners, you know, how to look after chickens in spring. What's the starter pack you need if you're thinking of keeping chickens? So gifts for chicken owners at Christmas time. So we try and seasonalize and have themes. So in the cluck, we don't call it entertainment, so we call it cluck. You cluck on a Chicken Guard website, you don't click on a Chicken Guard website. So we have this little humorous approach that we like to bring, and we're never going to lose that as grown up as we get, and as more serious as we get and professional as we get. We like to keep the attitude and the funness. Chicken owners are fun people. We want to be fun people as well. So check out Dumb Neighbors on YouTube, that video. Check out ChickenGuard.us in a couple of weeks time, but if you can't wait, it's ChickenGuardUSA.com or ChickenGuard.com. And the thing I really ask your audience to do is just let the people they know who have chickens, because they're going to know people, or they're going to know people who know people, no further away than that this thing exists. There are automatic door openers that can open and close the chicken coop door for you, because 99% of the chicken owners in America don't realize that yet. That's why it's fantastic you've given me this platform, and that your audience is out there, and it'd be nice if they can spread the word. And if people have had some ideas for building their brands and getting deeper distribution for their products, then happy to have shared.
Well, fantastic, Martin. I would love to thank you for being a guest on today's episode of Ask Sharifah Videocast.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, y'all.
You are very welcome. I want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch the show live. I want to thank everyone who is watching the show in the archives. We wouldn't be here without you, so thank you very much. And a very special thank you to our sponsor, Tammy Sorrento of Fireball Approves. Fireball Approves. Make sure you do not get caught in a rental scam. So before renting any property or any vacation rentals, contact fireballapproves.com. If you're interested in being a guest for sponsorship opportunities or just to watch more of my interviews, visit the website at AskSharifah.com. Until then, everyone have a wonderful day. Bye now.